Wealth isn't just about counting money. It's a profound concept that millions of people throughout history have viewed through a very different lens, one that can completely change how you live, think, and find happiness. Let's dive deep into an ancient philosophy that redefines what wealth truly means: Buddhism. When most of us hear the word wealth, our minds immediately jump to bank accounts, properties, cars, and all the material things that accumulate over time. But Buddhism teaches that wealth is far more complex and nuanced. It goes beyond material possessions. It touches upon the quality of our minds, the richness of our experiences, and the harmony we cultivate within ourselves and with others. This isn't about renouncing riches, but about understanding the true nature of wealth and how it impacts our happiness and suffering. First, we have to look at the core Buddhist views on attachments and desires. Buddhism emphasizes that suffering comes from craving, the endless desire for more. This craving naturally extends to money and possessions. If we grasp the Buddhist perspective, the root of our dissatisfaction isn't wealth itself, but our attachment and relentless desire for it. How many times have you felt anxious or stressed chasing after financial success, only to find that the satisfaction from acquiring something new fades quickly? This is because our minds are trapped in a cycle of craving. Buddhism offers a gentle yet powerful reminder that true wealth is attained when we free ourselves from these cravings and attachments. But then, what can wealth mean in this sense? Buddhism introduces the concept of the 4 types of wealth, or Brahma Viharas of wealth, which goes beyond the material. These categories provide a more layered understanding of prosperity. The first is material wealth, which includes money, food, and shelter. Buddhism doesn't demonize these things. They are necessary for survival and comfort. The difference lies in how we relate to this wealth. The second is wealth of health and body. Without good health, material wealth loses its meaning. Cultivating a healthy body through mindful living is considered a form of wealth. The third type is the wealth of good relationships. Our connections with family, friends, and community shape our emotional well-being and enrich our lives. Finally, the wealth of wisdom and virtue tops the list. This includes compassion, generosity, understanding, and ethical living. Buddhism holds this as the highest form of wealth that no one can take away. Achieving this wealth provides lasting peace and joy, unlike material riches which are impermanent and often cause anxiety. Now, one might ask, if wealth and prosperity in terms of money aren't shunned, what does Buddhism say about ambition and the pursuit of financial success? The answer is that Buddhism encourages balance and mindfulness. It encourages us to pursue financial well-being not for greed, status, or ego, but as a means to support ourselves and others. The ideal is a life where wealth is a tool and not a master. We also find in Buddhist teachings the principle of right livelihood, a part of the Noble Eightfold Path. This principle asks us to engage in occupations that do not cause harm or suffering to others. It emphasizes ethical earning rather than just earning at any cost. This perspective encourages us to consider not just the quantity of wealth, but the quality and origin of our income. With wealth comes responsibility, and Buddhism teaches generosity, or dana, as a central practice. It's not just about giving money, but the cultivation of a heart that's rich in giving without attachment or expectation. In giving, even the act of sharing can bring a deeper sense of fulfillment and connection, highlighting that wealth also flows through kindness and community support. Another interesting angle is how Buddhism views wealth in relation to impermanence, a core tenet of the philosophy. Everything in life, including money and possessions, is transient. Understanding impermanence teaches us not to cling too tightly to wealth because everything changes moment to moment. This helps reduce anxiety about loss and cultivates gratitude for what we have now. Buddhist stories and parables often illustrate these truths by highlighting how attachment to possessions leads to suffering, but a balanced approach leads to freedom and joy. Let's also discuss how meditation and mindfulness play into this relationship with wealth. Mindfulness allows us to observe our desires and impulses around money without judgment. It's the space that creates conscious decisions about spending, saving, and sharing. This clarity is a form of inner wealth, helping us make choices that align with our values and long-term happiness rather than momentary gratification. It also reduces impulse-driven behaviors that often cause stress and financial instability. Health, relationships, and wisdom, along with material resources, are part of a holistic form of prosperity according to Buddhist thought. This holistic approach is a powerful antidote to today's narrow focus on financial success alone. Many people feel burnout chasing money without fulfillment. Buddhism invites us to reconsider what we truly need and value, balancing external success with internal richness. You can think of this as an inner economy, where your mental, emotional, and ethical wealth are currencies just as valuable as your bank balance. There's an incredible story of a wealthy man who learned this lesson. He was rich beyond measure, but unhappy. After meeting a Buddhist teacher and learning about the impermanence of wealth and the importance of generosity and mindfulness, he transformed his life. He began to use his wealth to help others, cultivated compassion, and found true peace. His story reminds us that money alone is not the destination, but a vehicle for a richer, more meaningful life. So how practical is this wisdom in everyday life? For starters, reflecting on what wealth means to you now can open new perspectives. Next, integrating mindfulness in your financial decisions brings more awareness and less anxiety. And practicing generosity, no matter the size, starts a positive cycle of abundance in your life and others. Buddhist teachings encourage us not to reject wealth, but to approach it with awareness, ethics, and generosity. Wealth then becomes a resource that supports a flourishing life, not a binding chain that leads to suffering. Whether we are struggling financially or already have abundance, these insights can transform how we experience wealth. It brings freedom from the stress, fear, and greed that often accompany money matters. Ultimately, Buddhism offers a path where wealth enriches life through balance, mindfulness, and compassion. This path opens the door to lasting happiness and freedom that no amount of money alone can buy. In a world obsessed with material gain, revisiting ancient wisdom may be exactly what we need to find a deeper, more sustainable form of wealth that benefits ourselves and the world around us. Now, as we close, consider this. What would it look like to live your financial life with the kindness, awareness, and ethics that Buddhism teaches? How would your relationship with money change if wealth included a wealth of compassion, health, and wisdom? Imagine stepping into a life where wealth is measured not by how much you own, but by how rich you feel inside. This is the transformative power of the Buddhist perspective on wealth. If you found this video helpful and inspiring, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this wisdom with others who may benefit from it. We'll see you in the next video.